Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Context is King. I'm Rebecca Brayton, and with me as always is WatchMojo founder and CEO Ashkan Karbasfrooshan to discuss Jeff Bezos' $10 billion Earth Fund. In the same vein as Space Force. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so is it an act, a nice gesture, but an act? Or is it cunning? Is it a cunning business move? Or is it hypocritical? Or is it all three? It's probably all three. There's a tweet from Laura M. Lipman that says, I'm sorry, but I want to live in a country where we tax the out of people like Jeff Bezos and spend his money to solve problems as we see fit.
I think you said it. I think it's all three. And even I think our gal here, Laura, has a valid point. Again, I generally tend to get all perspectives, no matter how unsavory they are, especially in these times. Look, it's a nice gesture. I think people who, two parts to what I'm going to say. I think people who criticize Jeff Bezos should both shut the F up, but also keep criticizing. Because if they don't criticize, then the Jeff Bezoses don't do anything. Criticize away. Nobody does things out of, realistically, nobody does things because they have to.
Nobody does things because they want to.
No, actually, no, yes, sorry. Yeah, nobody does things because they want to. It's not really true. I think a lot of people do things because they genuinely want to, but I don't think that many people give $10 billion because they want to.
But I keep seeing the ratio of what $10 billion means to Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, it's 10% of his wealth.
It's nothing.
Well, it's not nothing, it's 10%. But that's not fair. It's still $10 billion. He could have given $1 billion, people would have complained. It's $1 billion. But look, the point is, I think a lot of people want to do things. I like to do things all day long, but yeah, I won't lie. There's some things I don't want to do or feel. So we can't be hypocrites, but they should also shut the F up because it's a great thing to do. Now, as a finance guy, he's not giving $10 billion now. He's not selling $10 billion worth of his stock, giving a check to, the whale, the polar bear. He's basically saying that I'm going to earmark the net present value of what may be $10 billion and frankly just dole out the interest that I'm collecting on that $10 billion. But it's still more than anybody else kind of has done. So we want to be careful. Because if you're the next guy in line about to sign a check, if the vitriol is too insane, you're like, well, am I putting a bigger bullseye on my back, right? But at the same time, people should criticize. That's the beauty of the society we live in. This is not North Korea.
I know, but I don't think anybody's saying he shouldn't do it, even if they're criticizing him.
Yeah, but it's not that you shouldn't do it. By virtue of criticizing, you're basically telling him, you better maybe not do this.
I don't know.
There's
if you're
somebody,
as big as Jeff Bezos.
No, but there's a guy or a gal who's considering making a $100 million donation, and then that person may hesitate. So then society loses. Is the point I'm making.
I get it. I just. Yeah.
But my point is, it's complicated.
If you've got that much money to burn, you can't be that concerned with criticism.
Oh, I think you are. I actually think that a lot of these people have thinner skin than we think, and they absolutely care about what you say. These people are not. A lot more luck goes into all of that than just smarts and all that. So. Everybody cares to some extent, but the point is, on the first one, it's a nice gesture for sure. But yeah, look, at present time, the government, especially with Donald Trump's government, who hates the Washington Post, and doesn't even know who to pick on, but he'll just turn around like, a rabbit, mating, just jumping on anything that moves. Of course, they are looking at Amazon's. Is that a bad analogy?
I didn't know where.
I didn't know where I was going with that. Yeah, absolutely. They're looking at Amazon monopolistic power, and so I think though that this is kind of like a way to soften that rugged exterior that both Jeff Bezos has developed with Amazon. But then third, yeah, my God, you get a box from Amazon. I mean, they will put this. You don't get a box.
You get 7 boxes.
But that's also because
it's like a Russian doll.
But because as consumers, you and I are hypocritical. We want everything right away. Ooh, not all of them are there. Send me what's there, right? If you had the choice between getting those 6 items you delivered in 13 days or getting a couple of them tomorrow,
it depends what it is.
It depends what it is. That's a fair answer. But so my point is, yes, it is also hypocritical. But look, I think it's a good thing. When we did Fox in the Hen House, the documentary, we talked about this. The fact that billionaire capitalists are coming out and saying the system doesn't necessarily make sense for all, it's because they do sense, it's fear. It's not generosity. It's not necessarily wanting to do the good thing. They may want to do the good thing, but to an extent. I think it's fundamentally that there is this kind of fear that, hey, nobody in France or Russia thought that the shit was going to go down. And I don't think the US is necessarily at risk of going down that path. But I think it's all of the above. But I just think that when the people that really, really criticize the folks that are writing the checks, they are probably giving a disincentive to others to do so. But I get Laura Lippman and many others who say, you know, Jeff Bezos and Amazon pay less or no taxes because they do other things. But let me flip this over to Laura Lippman, because I'm all about, I don't want to be like, I'm a contrarian, but just to play devil's advocate. If under Donald Trump's regime, you tax Jeff Bezos more, and
where is that money going?
Exactly. Does Laura Lippman, who seems like an witty person, maybe she's a genius, maybe she's an idiot, like she's probably smarter than an idiot, obviously, but she is wrong technically, because do you really think that Donald Trump would take 10 billion or $1 billion and give anything?
Yeah, but she didn't specify how she wanted those problems solved. To be fair,
but
like, or what problems? She didn't specify what.
But that money would go to another tax cut to the rich, or it would go to. So
well, no, but that's the thing. It would never happen under Donald Trump. Like we're
okay. So now we go. So right now, this is the bizarro world that we live in. We are both seeing the Laura Lippmans of the world play the boogeyman with both the Donald Trump regime and the billionaires. So the purpose of capitalism, and why I said I managed to piss off the capitalists who called me a socialist, and the communists who called me a capitalist pig, and I'm neither, frankly. The reality is you ultimately want the system of capitalism that allows the people to generate wealth so that if they disagree with how the government is doling out that tax, they could still write this check. Otherwise, Jeff Bezos' monies is funding some war you disagree with, giving a tax.
I know, but it could be, couldn't it?
It could be what?
Well,
what could be?
Yeah, I know, but that's just because we agree with his cause in this scenario. Like, what if Jeff Bezos wants to start a war with Iraq or something? I don't know, with his own money.
Well, no, but if he wants, this is not a James Bond movie. If he wants to start a war, he has to go and, like Donald Trump, run for office, in theory. He doesn't have
but, like, what about Elon Musk colonizing Mars? Does he have to get governmental...
No,
like,
he doesn't. So, the U.S. doesn't give him a license.
And I'm sure there are people around that are like, we shouldn't do that. We've already ruined one planet.
But it's his money.
Well, yeah, but the planet isn't his. This is quite a different conversation.
This is a different conversation.
I'm really sorry.
But the point I want to make is, I think these are complicated, complex conversation points. And my ultimate takeaway with this, as with any topic, anybody that takes an extreme position is actually in the wrong. The only way that you kind of come up...
You think wanting to tax the rich is an extreme position?
No, you should tax the rich. I pay my taxes there. Like I've told the government in the, you've not seen Fox in the Hen House? We have lawyers and accountants who constantly are fighting for ever bigger loopholes. And I'm like, good enough is enough is good enough. I don't think it's right for the Amazons or the Jeff Bezoses to pay zero. I think that's totally criminal. But I don't think you should be aiming a policy that maximizes taxing people who work harder. There's a lot of lazy people, but there's also a lot of unfortunate people. I think it's wrong that the marginal tax rate is higher on people that are struggling living paycheck to paycheck than on the Jeff Bezos, to be clear. But that doesn't mean that then you go to the other extreme and you make Jeff Bezos pay 90% of every dollar above a certain amount. I do think, though, that a lot of people are driven by money, but entrepreneurs and business people create jobs. The government doesn't really create jobs per se. So I think it's just a balanced approach. And if you would have watched Fox in the Hen House...
I did watch it.
No. I think that's the point, which is you do need a bit of a balance.
I know. I'm just...
nuance. And there's no right. There's no extreme.
No, I know. It's starting to sound like trickle-down economics.
Laura Lippman is no different than Donald Trump. That was a joke. My point is the extremes the extreme position is never the right position.
Okay. Let us know what you think in the comments.
Laura, don't come after us.
We'll see you next time.